and then it goes live, and then you can hear the echoes of my mind with the audio going all over the place. And then it goes live, and then you can hear the echoes of my. You just heard the echoes of my mind right there. There you go. So, welcome everyone. Anyone who's on YouTube today, great to have you here. I'm not paying attention to YouTube while I do this, so I apologize that I'm not greeting you all individually, but was just letting people know that I've been using this term inside of myself the last week or so around, I don't know, just really honoring these two aspects of our consciousness. So one is this dualistic one that's in the timeline where we're paying attention to past, present, future. And it's the part of our mind, mostly left brain, where the executive function is super busy, making sure that we're checking in on the mistakes from the past and learning from them, and then shooting our brain out into the future and going, okay, what do I need to be careful about? This is the nervous system that goes into fight, flight, fawn, and freeze. That's super important to our survival, but more so super important for our species survival, and really is what we've used to evolve to this point. And because we have a lot of comfort and safety, and we are, those of us who are on here and probably watching, most likely are not in a war zone right now. Although it does feel like it in America. We'll talk about that in a minute. But we're not in a real survival mode right now, or we're not in the middle of a hurricane, which is like, okay, yeah, this is when the survival thing kicks in, and probably a good thing for us. But I'd say probably for most of us and for 99% of our life, we don't need this intense survival mode, but there it is. It's in the timeline, and it's always checking and making sure we're safe. And it's what people talk about these days when they talk about, in the nervous system and regulating your nervous system and all those fun little topics on uh, Instagram that you get to hear about if you slow down for 2 seconds on someone talking about their nervous system, then you're inundated with it. And then it's fucking with your nervous system. Oh, how ironic. Uh, so, uh, so I've been doing this thing where I've been letting myself step out of the timeline and being in this other part of our consciousness, which is the non-dual, which is where there's no separation between body, mind. Things are just are. And whatever ideas or things we need are just are. We're not manufacturing them. We're not focusing on them. And we're not getting lost in them. We're not losing our body inside of our thoughts either. Or we're not being completely overwhelmed by our emotions, which can be another way that we try to regulate ourselves. So stepping out of the timeline. So that's what we're going to do here today. And I'm going to start with a ring of the bell, and I'll walk you through a little focusing of your mind to help you step out of the timeline and focus just on sensory experiences. And then, knowing the way my psyche likes to work, I may take you somewhere else. There might be some images that come up for me, and I may take you into a little bit of an imaginal journey too. But I don't know if that'll happen today or not. I'm not in charge, which is nice. Okay, so I am going to ring the bell. And if you guys want to turn your videos off, that's perfectly legit. If you don't, no worries about it. You are all good. And I'm just going to move my microphone back a little bit because it can get a little crazy noisy when I do this. And I am going to change my audio settings. All right, here we go. There we go. Okay. I do invite you all to sit in a way that your back is not slumpy. Not like you're like curled up to watch a movie, but you are sitting, but not tension in the body, but just making sure your spine is nice and straight. And you can even imagine a little beautiful thread from the heavens above pulling at the top of your spinal cord and just letting it be straight, but in a relaxed way. I encourage you to put feet on ground, unless you're sitting in a lotus position, which is absolutely legit, right? So, and that's fine too. All right, here we go. Sound of the bell. You'll hear me awakening the bell, and then I will do the full ring. Give yourself permission in any way you want or can to step outside the river stream of life that is moving around us, and letting yourself just be here, hearing the sound of my voice. And allowing yourself to feel the weight of your body on your chair. Maybe feeling those sit bones that you're sitting on. Really feeling the weight of gravity pulling down on those, putting pressure on that and any other part of your body that is holding you up on the chair or the sofa. And maybe imagining that your chair, a sofa, cushion, is really a larger cushion, one that sits on the lap of something all loving, fully capable of protection, fully capable of keeping the timeline of life at bay so that you can just be here resting with alertness, awake resting. Allowing the nervous system to ratchet down to a place where it does not need to be on alert. It just gets to be. Noticing your feet on the ground if that's where they're touching. And if you are sitting in a kind of a lotus position, allowing that whole base of your body to feel like it's on ground. And letting ground really be perceived here. Ground being earth, and earth being this enormously solid and stable foundation. Part of that space we are sitting on that holds us. And now let's just focus on the breathing, which means taking our attention of our mind and focusing it on our natural organic breathing. And for some of you, it might be helpful to actually feel your chest or your belly with your hands while we focus. Sometimes it's helpful to feel the physicality of the breathing. And for others, that might not be useful. And the beautiful thing about breathing is there's really nothing to do. This is just watching how the body knows exactly what to do. This is getting a chance to let the body hold us, take care of us. It really does know how to take care of us without us having to manage, plan, execute. And so let's sit a few moments here in silence and just watch the breath. And for those new to this practice, know that your mind will wander. Perfectly normal. And if it does, it will. When you notice it's wandered, gently, as if you would be coaxing a puppy or a toddler and their attention back to the breath. Lots of motherly love towards yourself as you bring yourself back to breath. So let's sit a few minutes and practice that together. Remember bringing your breath, your attention back to breath with the gentleness of a fully compassionate one. Now I'm going to invite you to stay in this meditative space. And just notice this difference between being in the timeline, like I was saying, being in the rush of life, active, doing, handling, and this being off the timeline into a space which you might have gotten maybe 4 minutes or 4 seconds of a little moment of kind of what that means to just put it all aside and to just risk being not behind the wheel of your life for a moment and just let yourself watching it maybe, or just being off to the side. And I know how scary and hard it can be sometimes to step off the timeline. We're living in very uncertain times as a collective, first on a planet level. We've all felt that for a long time. And now, as citizens of America and or the West, or really, God knows, any country right now, is there any place that is not feeling a level of uncertainty? But especially here in America. For all of us, no matter what color state we live in, no matter what type of candidates we vote for, politics are very volatile in our country. Economy is confusing. Rules that we didn't know were kind of baked into the system are being challenged. So this really activates our fight or flight survival modes. But I want to give you a chance here to really see, and maybe some people see this more with an image. Some people feel it maybe just energetically or somatically in their body, kind of more of a vague thing, non-specific versus specific. Just for a moment, I want you to kind of unload your personal burden, which includes the collective burden, and just let those parts, put them aside over in that timeline area. All the trying, all the efforting, all the thinking, all the solving and strategizing. And all of the emotions that go with all of those things. And imagine that as you put them aside, they're actually going into the arms of some very capable being, one who is highly intelligent, compassionate, empathic, capable, wise, accessible, responsible. And maybe an actual image comes to your mind, or maybe you don't work that way and it's more non-specific, but it's just a space that feels like it has all of those qualities. And and this space or entity or figure or image knows you, has known you forever, and will know you forever, before this lifetime, beyond this lifetime. It understands your journey. It understands the story of this life, but most importantly, it understands the story of your soul. The much longer, broader story of you, capital Y. And to the best of your ability, let this companion, figure, energy, whatever it is, feel true and real to yourself here. It's beyond your story, it's beyond your timeline, and yet it has understanding and is also invested in you, invested in your path, your being. It has no ideas of outcome, has no expectations. It's like a guardian of some kind, maybe. A fellow traveler that's a little wide, has wider seeing, wider knowing than our little separate selves here. I'm just going to give you a moment here to sit with it. Let its love fill every cell of your body. Let its supportive, loving energy fill every part of your digestive system, all of your major organs, your pulmonary, respiratory, cardio systems, all of the systems that support your hormones, all the chemicals that need to move through your body for everything to function, your muscles, your bones, and your nervous system, especially your nervous system. Let this body know that it has got a guardian, a companion, a friend. Maybe there's a name for this figure or this energy. Maybe it shares it with you right now. And even if you don't operate with the ability to imagine or see or any of those things, know that we've been talking to your deep unconscious here, that something is present and awakened. And so as we get ready to enter back into the timeline of our self-stay and life, at the sound of the bell, take a moment to bring yourself back together, knowing this figure lives inside of you in the deep psyche, but also lives outside of you in some larger psyche that we are all immersed in. We call it the anima mundi, the soul of the world. And we're going to let the sound of the bell just bring us back fully into our timeline. You do not have to open your eyes the moment the bell rings, just to let you know that we are coming back in now. And that whatever you needed from this meditation today, you have received. Letting yourself slowly come back into this timeline, but still really being connected to the spaciousness of the other timeline, the other space without time or lines, whatever you want to call that. So letting that spaciousness now be present here in this world where there are objects and other people and cars and weird things called internets. And I don't really want to actually bring you out of this state by asking questions or having you kind of move into some other kind of left brainy thinking. I want to invite you to stay in this space as you enter and re-enter the timeline of your life today. But I also want to make sure that if you do have a question or something that wants to be spoken, that you have space to do that. So I'm just going to open up the space here for a few minutes, and we'll end early today as we've been doing because it's just felt right. Is there anything that anyone needs to speak or say? And feel free to just unmute yourself and speak or say it if you do. Excellent. Not excellent because no one's talking, but excellent that it feels done here. We feel complete. So as we both all, us and whoever's watching this on YouTube and whoever's watching this at some asynchronous moment on YouTube, because it'll be up in the playlist and you can always review meditations I create here on my YouTube channel, which is at Kelly Carlin Humans on the Verge, something like that. I'll put it in the chat here. Give me a second here. Here we go. Yeah, here it is. It's Kelly Carlin-McCall, HOTV. It's in the chat. Oops, it was. There we go. That's the YouTube channel. If you ever want to revisit this particular one or another meditation, feel free to do that. And in my channel over there, if you're interested in spending more time in this space like this or all the other spaces that we create for people to go deep in their lives, go deep into themselves so that they can feel more like themselves in the world, in the timeline. We have lots of ways of doing that, and we're honored to actually get to practice that as we do it ourselves. Those of us who lead over there, Holly, myself, Avery. It's what our jam is. So, guys, have a very nice day. So lovely to have you. And have a beautiful Halloween and Dia de los Muertos. It's my friend Julie and I this morning were talking about the portal is open. It's that time of year to honor ancestors and those who have passed. The tradition is powerful. If that's something you feel called to do, build a little altar to your ancestors and light a little candle for the next 3 or 4 nights. Hang out with them. They're here too. So thank you all.